So it's that time of the month to talk about the books that I want to read in December. I didn't get through nearly as many books as I wanted to in November, but that's okay. I have some plans for December, trying to wrap up some things before the end of the year. So let's just talk about them. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, like I said, we're going to go over my December TBR, but before we get to that, please make sure that you always like and subscribe. That really helps my channel out. Always check my description box below for all of my links to my Goodreads, Instagram, Amazon wishlist, and my Pango Books account, because I still got quite a few books on there to get rid of. Also, my Bookish Box ambassador link is below. They have a huge Black Friday sale going on right now. Some things left over the weekend. With my link and the code that is in that link, you get 10% off your entire purchase on their website. So definitely go check out their apparel. I love their sweaters and I love their shirts and their joggers. They're so comfortable. So I'm just going to talk to you about the different plans that I have for books, but before we do that, we are going to be picking my fantasy bingo books for the month. I have been doing 2 books per month, but this month I'm going to do 3, trying to round it out to a normal even number because I have 11 books still to read by the end of March. And I felt, let's just shoot for 3. If I don't get the third one, that's fine. But if I can, that would put me a little bit ahead. So let's do that. So I'm going to pick the numbers. I know you can't see them. They are down here, but there are 11 books. I am desperately wanting to read one of them, and I hope my number generator really comes through for me. So I have it set to 11. So let's generate the number. And it says that it is 4. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so that is going to be The Western Passage Part 2 Arrival by G. DeCarlo. I read Part 1 like 3 or 4 years ago. It's been quite a while. When did this get published? I want to say this was the first printing, so 2020. So I think it was 2019 that I read the first book, and this will kind of finish up that duology. It will wrap up a series that I am desperately needing to get through my entire series backlog. We're going to go over that later on in December. I do know that this book is a dystopian, paranormal, somewhat romance. It is where they are in a keep where the whole world has vampires, zombies, different creatures in it, and they all live behind this fortress, and they need to get to the other place because this place gets blown up, overrun. From what I remember, it's been quite a while. But you have a group of people and a vampire, which is the last of her kind, I think, that's with them, and she is helping them get to this other place. There's kind of a romance in here. I'm really excited to get to it. I'm ready to kind of see where this wraps up at. Okay, I reset it to 10, so let's get the second book for my fantasy bingo pick. And it's going to be number 5. Okay. That is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I know that this is dealing with sirens, I think, or mermaids. I am not a big siren mermaid fan whenever it comes to fantasy. I don't know. I've just never been able to get into the stories, but I've heard so many people talk about this book. I even have a special edition of it from Bookish Box, so I think it's time that we get to it, but I don't know really much about it. I know that it says Prince Lyra is siren royalty. To punish her daughter, the Sea Queen transforms Lyra into the one thing that she loathes, a human. She also meets Prince Elion? Is this a take on The Little Mermaid? I think maybe it could be. But anyway, I'm excited to at least try it, see what the hype is about. I've had so many people that I follow mention that I need to try this book, and now it's time that I'm going to get to it. Alright, we changed it to 9 books left on there, so let's generate my third and final book for December. So we left off on 5. that did a 4 again. What? Okay, so that is going to be Blood and Moonlight by Aaron Beattie. This book I actually got from, I think, Abraxos book box. Yeah, from Abraxos book box back whenever they were around and they shut down a couple years ago. And I never read it, but I also have book 2 in this. I don't know if it's a trilogy or a duology. And I also have book 1 in her other series, The Traitor's Kiss. I do own that as well. On the back, all it says is when blood meets moonlight, Katrin discovers astonishing abilities that draw her into a mysterious stranger's hunt for a serial killer. Okay. So rising above the city of Collis is the holy sanctum, and watching over its many spires is Katrin, an orphan girl whose unique skills serve the sanctum's master's architect. Ooh, Katrin finds herself caught between killer and detective while hiding her own secret. I'm invested. I know that I own the second book in this. I don't know if it's a duology or a trilogy. I'm gonna have to do some research, but I'm excited to get to this. Okay, so that is the 3 books that I'm gonna get to in December for my fantasy bingo, which means that I should only have 8 books left to read by the end of March. So if I do 3 in January, 3 in February, and 2 in March, in theory, I should black out my entire fantasy bingo shelf. We'll see. I still have a couple chunky books in there, namely like Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. We still got some chunkers in there, you guys, so we'll see how that goes. But let's talk about other books that I need to get to in December. I guess the only other must read, because I am following Becca in the Books on her book club, like Patreon pick, and that's Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Rorick, which I have already read. I've read the first 3 books, I believe, so I'm caught up on that until they get to book 4, so I don't need to read that. So really the only other book that I need to read is for Catch Up Book Club, and that is Malice by John Gwynne. I did not get to this in November, not because I didn't have time, because I could have prioritized this, but I was talking to another Patreon member, Vanessa, that talks to me over on Instagram, and she was asking me if I had gotten to this yet, and I told her no, because I think I'm going to wait until December, whenever I am out of my busy season, because it ends on December 7th, so I can devote my time and attention to this, because it's an epic fantasy, and I don't want to just skim through it and then be like, I have no idea what's going on. So I don't know much about this. I know that it's an epic fantasy. I know there's 4 books in this series, and then there's 3 in a spin-off series, I think, that you read after this. So I am excited to get to this book in December. The last books that I am going to just kind of run through rather quickly, I talked about for my November TBR. I didn't quite get to them. I kind of veered off the path, and you'll see what I mean by that whenever I do my November wrap up, because I ended up reading a book and then it was a duology, and I'm still finishing up that duology. I'm on the second book. I only have, I think, 4 hours left of the audio. I just wasn't able to fit it in before the end of November, so that's going to carry on over, but it wasn't even on my TBR. So that's where I veered off and went wrong. So the first book that I still have is If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. Again, this is kind of a YA mystery, romance, paranormal type thing, because the girl finds the most popular boy dead in the hallway, and his ghost keeps following her around, and maybe they're going to try to solve the mystery. I'm not sure. So I'm excited to get to this. I know that we're past spooky season, but you can read it any time of the year. The next one that I still have to get to, because I'm desperate to read the second book and find out kind of what is going on, and that is The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. I think there's gonna be an audiobook possibly sometime soon. If not, I'll just read it. It's kind of a chunker, so I feel like it's going to take me quite a bit of time to get through this, especially whenever I have been told I need to read The Sword and the Scepter, the two novellas that go before this book, so you kind of know our male main character and female main character. But I know that it is a fated mates between a witch and a fae prince. So I'm excited to see kind of what this is about. Everyone's talking about it, and I need to know what is happening. The next one is also the third and final book in the Hearts and Crowns series by Natalie Murray, which is Emmy and the Tudor Throne. I have still yet to read this. I desperately want to read the omnibus, that is the new adult version, because it has a little bit of spice in there. I'm desperate to see how she changed it up a little bit. She says that she didn't change the story, just more of like the spicy moments. So I'm really wanting to read that. But this series is kind of like a historical fantasy romance where what if Queen Elizabeth I had children, and what if it was a son, and what if he ends up being king? And it's about our girl that ends up slipping through time and ending up in the Tudor court in 1580, and she's trying to survive while falling in love with the king. I really want to know how this story wraps up. It's not a very long book, so I don't think that it would take me very long to get through it. I've just procrastinated. The next one is Ace of Spades by Jekka Wild. I almost said Jinka. And this is kind of like a why choose reverse harem about Alice in Wonderland. I know my mom got it for me a couple years ago. The downfall is, and the reason why I have been procrastinating it, is because it's book one. And I don't need to add more series onto my already like overflowing series list that I need to get caught up on or completed. But I put this on there. I want to get to it. It's going to be a fast read because there's only like 220 pages. And if I don't like it, I don't have to continue. But I really want to get to it. The other one that my mom bought me is Truth and Other Lies by Lyra Wolf. This is also another series starter. So I don't need it, but I want to read it because it is about Vikings, Norse mythology. Y'all know, if you've watched my videos in the past couple months, I am in my Viking era. Still in it. Loving it. I want to read this before I get out of that Viking era, so maybe I will enjoy it a little bit more. That's all I know. You have the gods and Asgard and different things going on. I really want to know what is happening. The next book that has been on TBR after TBR is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I want to read the indie version first before I listen to the traditionally published one because I know there are differences. I want to know what the differences are. I want to read this one first because this is the one that everybody got hooked on and the reason why she did get it traditionally published. Another series starter, but I'm okay with that. And it deals with dragons. Who doesn't like dragons? So I want to get to this. I know that it has found family. It's a fantasy romance. I really want to know what's going on. So it's a chunker, but you know, I like some chunky books in the winter. And the last book that I have from my November TBR that is carrying on over is Hunt Me Darling by Marie Rose. This is kind of a guilty pleasure. It's a dark romance, and I think it might be a series. I'm not sure, but it should be very quick. It's under 300 pages. And it is kind of like a reverse situation from the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey, where you have the girl who is a FBI forensic profiler and she is trying to track down a serial killer. And I think it is 2 serial killers. Are they brothers? They're either brothers or best friends. I don't remember which one. But she ends up getting caught up, and I think it's kind of a romance between all 3 of them. I'm not sure, but I really want to get to this. Alright, you guys, those are all the books that I have for my December TBR. Now, the ones at the very beginning, I am definitely going to be prioritizing. All the other ones I am hoping to get to, but if history shows, I am nothing but a mood reader. So all of those that are on my TBR that are not must reads are kind of if I get to it, if I feel like reading it. You know, I might end up picking up other books. I know that The Songbird and the Heart of Stone just came out by Carissa Broadbent. I am currently reading an arc of The Mirror in the Mountain by Dana Evan, which is book 2 in the Mirror trilogy. And that comes out the first week of December. I'm falling behind on that. I also have book 2, Claimed by the Shadows, I think, or Claimed by Shadows, by Rosalie, which is book 2 in that series, and I have not gotten to it, and I know that it's releasing in the next couple weeks. Also, if we stay on track with the time frame, Gemma James should be releasing the 4th season in the Zodiac Queen series in December at some point. May get pushed back, so that I will be getting to if it does release. And then also, at the end of December, Briar Bolin is coming out with book 2 in the On Wings of Blood series. And I'm going to be getting an arc of that. So I have quite a bit that I have to get to, want to get to, desperate to get to. So we're just going to see what I can fit in. But let me know in the comments below, are any of these books on your radar? Are you looking forward to any of the books that are going to be coming out that I just mentioned? If you want to let me know that you were here and you don't want to leave me a comment, then just put a flame emoji for Fear the Flames, and that'll let me know at least that you are still here. But I hopefully after next week should be getting back to my normal upload schedule of 2 a week. I'm going to try to do a little bit of vlogging. I'm not doing anything with Vlogmas because with my busy season running over into December, I just don't have time to do that. But definitely look forward to my November wrap up, my November book haul, and then all of my end of the year content coming. And then also in January, if you did not know, if you want to become a Patreon member for January, then you can find my link in the description box below. I have so much content coming for Patreon members only. We are going to be doing reading sprints. Things are going to be hyping up a little bit more over there. So definitely come on over and join us. We will be picking our next book also for January and doing our wrap up with the Quicksilver read. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time. Bye!